So our today's agenda is we are going to start with the next module that is called as dynamic programming. And the coverage goes like this. We'll just have an introduction and how basically dynamic programming works. Then we'll move on to the first problem statement that is called as multi-stage graph. I think we should be able to do multi-stage graph today because it consumes some amount of time to solve the problem. And from multi-stage graphs, we will move to transitive closure, which basically makes use of a very well-known algorithm called as Warshall's algorithm, which will tell whether there exists a path or not. Then we will see an extension of the shortest path, which we have studied in greedy method, that is Dijkstra's algorithm. In dynamic programming, we will see Floyd's algorithm. You all know that Dijkstra's algorithm was basically focusing on single source and multiple destinations, but Floyd's algorithm focuses on multiple source and multiple destinations. And that's the prime reason it is called as all pair shortest path. Then we will have a look at binary search tree in terms of its optimality. Knapsack problem, you are all aware of the problem statement, what it does, but we will see how dynamic programming helps us to solve the knapsack problems. We'll have a look at Bellman-Ford algorithm, and very important and very interesting problem statement in the field of algorithms is traveling salesman problem. And then we wind out this dynamic programming with the last point that is called as reliability design. So before I tell you the fundamental difference between two design techniques, let us first keep in mind that dynamic programming is considered to be a very powerful technique to solve particular class of problems. As a matter of fact, not all problem statements can be solved using dynamic programming, but yes, particular class of problems you can solve using dynamic programming, which is shortly referred as DP. This design technique was actually invented by an author by name Richard Bellman in 1950s, who was instrumental in coming out with an algorithm which works on the shortest path on the graphs. That's why it was called as Bellman-Ford algorithm. Another thing is this dynamic programming demands very elegant formulation of the approach, and simple thinking and coding part is very easy. The way how dynamic programming solves the problem is it basically solves with overlapping subproblems. What do you mean by overlapping subproblems is, once a given problem to you, you basically look it from the subproblem point of view and you solve the subproblem and you store the result. Now the result is always stored in the form of a table, which you will see as and when we go further. And once the result is stored in the table, believe me, you will never come back to the subproblem for its recalculation. And that is very, very important in dynamic programming, right? The reason why we store the result in the table is for future reference, so that whenever we need, we can take that and we don't need to solve the same problem again. Now, these are some of the examples of dynamic programming in terms of problem statements. Fibonacci numbers, binomial coefficient, Warshall's algorithm, Floyd's algorithm, knapsack problem, and optimal binary search tree. So out of this, the first two you do not have in your syllabus. Of course, our focus will be on the remaining problem statement. But let me also tell you that the word dynamic programming is basically a design technique. So as a computer science student, you please ensure and be careful that the word programming in this dynamic programming is not actually related to any computer programming. So do not be under impression that we have studied C, C++ or Java or Python or whatever it is. Ade tarane, there is another programming language called as dynamic. No, the word programming here has got nothing to do with computer programming. Please keep this in mind, because here programming word refers to the process of obtaining an optimal solution for any problem that is given to you, right? So basically dynamic programming works athwa it revolves around optimality. This is the fundamental difference between divide and conquer and dynamic programming. The first one is it is applicable when subproblems are independent. On the other hand, dynamic programming is applicable when subproblems are not independent. So similarly, you have other differences. Just have a look at it. Divide and conquer basically uses top-down approach, but dynamic programming uses bottom-up approach. Of course, each of these differences that is listed out in the PowerPoint slide, you will be able to appreciate as and when we solve the problem. So let us look at the first problem statement that is called as multi-stage graph. So what exactly you mean by multi-stage graph? We have already seen a nonlinear data structure called as graph, but the meaning of multi-stage graph is that it is a directed graph, and that you have to keep in mind. Multi-stage graphs are always directed graph, and as usual it will consist of number of vertices and edges, but the only difference is in this case andre multi-stage graph nalli enagutte, the vertices are partitioned into couple of stages. That is why it is called as multi-stage graph, and these couple of stages are called as K stages andre stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 and so on. There's no limit to the number of stages. I will tell you which vertices in the graph will be called as stage 1, stage 2. But these K stages in the graph is such a way that K is always greater or equal to 2. And at every stage, it will contain disjoint sets of vertices, that is V of I, where 1 is less than or equal to I, less than or equal to K. Now what we do in multi-stage graph in terms of solving the problem, right? Now this multi-stage graph problem is to determine the shortest path from source to destination. Now when you look at the broad field of algorithms, right, you will come across this path problem, particularly the shortest path problem, in so many places. First we saw shortest path problem with respect to greedy method, that is Dijkstra's algorithm. Now we are going to also look at the shortest path from source to destination using dynamic programming. And again, the best part of dynamic programming is there are two ways of trying to get the shortest path. One is the forward approach and one is the backward approach, right? As the name says, in forward approach, we find the path from destination to source. So it's a reverse actually. It is called as reverse biasing actually. Forward approach is backward biasing, that is reverse biasing, where we find the path from destination to source. And backward approach, andre, it is actually from source to destination. Okay, so basically multi-stage graph problem is to determine the shortest path from source to destination. So these are the nomenclatures which we are going to use. So please make a note of it, all of you. G is the graph, which you are already aware, the terminology and the representation of the data structure. A is the cost adjacency matrix. N is the number of vertices in the graph. Array C is used to store the cost, and array P is used to store the traced path. And this array P at the end will help us to retrieve the shortest path, whether it is from source to destination or from destination to source. So let us proceed further and see how we proceed. So this is the algorithm for forward graph, right? Don't make a note of it. Just have a quick glance, and anyhow, I'm going to mail you the PPTs. We will try to solve the problem now. So in the forward approach, as I mentioned earlier, the full focus is to find the path from destination to source. So the for loop will always start from n-1 down to 1. It's a simple common sense actually. Okay. So please take down the example. We will solve this multi-stage graph problem. Obtain the shortest path from 1 to 9 in the following multi-stage graph using forward method. So this is how you will get questions in the exam. Don't go with this vertex numbering from 1 to 9, because vertex numbering, it's always good professionally to write it from lower vertex to higher vertex. But what is more important in the problem statement is the terminology, correct? Here we are asking you to obtain the shortest path using forward method, correct? So so basically nimge 1 to 9 andre, end of the day you will give us the path from 9 to 1, because of obvious reason that forward method is used in the problem statement. Please take down the graph, and please be careful in taking down the graph. It is a 9 vertex graph. Let us try to solve this particular problem in terms of finding the path using forward approach, right? Now, tell me, before we start with the solution, how many vertices are there in the graph? Total number of vertices in the graph? Okay, correct, right? Now, which is the source vertex and which is the destination vertex? We go with the source as 1 and destination as 9, because that's how the problem statement is given. Okay, so now this is how we are going to start with the solution. Make a note of this. Given data, n is 9, which is, as you rightly said, number of vertices in the graph. Source vertex is 1. Destination vertex, as you all know in data structure, it is also called as sink vertex, or sink it is called, which is 9. And since we are using the forward approach, our C of 9 and P of 9 will be 0. You can make a note so that tomorrow when you study for the exam, it will be useful for you. Since we are using forward approach and the whole idea is to find the path from 9 to 1, our C of 9 and P of 9 is 0. Okay? C of 9 and P of 9 is 0. Now, based on the algorithm, our next step will be like this. We are going to calculate the value of C. Hold on, please understand all of you. First thing is we are going to find out the vertex from, the path from 9 to 1. Okay, now look at the graph. The graph is displayed on the screen. Using forward approach, we are going to find out this particular path from 9 to 1. Now, why this is called as multi-stage graph is the entire graph is divided into different stages. Stages are if you look at the extreme left side and you try to draw a perpendicular line, the vertical line touching the vertex. So the first line that you draw from top to bottom is passing through vertex 1. So vertex 1 is at stage 1. Understand? Vertex 1 is at stage 1. Then I will draw a vertical line from top to bottom, and this vertical line will pass through vertex 2 and 3. Artha madkoli. The vertical line that I am drawing from top to bottom will pass from 2, then it will go to 3 and come down. So stage 2 nalli, I will get 2 vertex called as 2 and 3. Similarly, can you tell me in stage 3, which are all the vertex that will come? If you have understood my first 2 stages, in stage 3, which vertex will come? Exactly, you are all right. It is vertex 4, 5, 6. Okay, then stage 4, correct, 7 and 8. Stage 4 is 7 and 8. And 9 comes in which stage? Vertex 9 comes in which stage? Exactly, it comes in stage 5. Okay, so the graph that I have given you is a multi-stage graph which has got 5 stages. Okay, idu one itkoli napka. Next, we are trying to find out the path using forward approach, that is from 9 to 1. So avagén madbeku, we have to do a sort of a backtracking. Backtracking andre, we have to start from the end and slowly come towards the beginning. Got the point? And at every iterative step, listen carefully, at every iterative step, we are going to do the calculation with respect to one stage. With respect to one stage, whether it is a forward approach or backward approach, that is immaterial. But ಯಾವುದೇ approach now you use ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೂನು, the calculation will be done with respect to the vertex of that stage. Okay, so watch out carefully. We are going to start from vertex 9, okay, which is at stage 5, correct? Which is at stage 5. So our first target will be those vertices which comes before stage 5, that is stage 4. Artha aita? That is stage 4. Now tell me which vertex comes in stage 4? Correct, 7 and 8. So our first target will be vertex 7 and 8. Okay, so that does not matter in which order you write. Okay, so let us proceed. Now have a look at it. We are going to start with vertex 8, for which we are going to do two things. We are going to find out cost of 8, and we are also going to find out the path. Okay, we are going to find out the cost of 8 plus path. Now based on the algorithm, the formula is, don't take down, first understand. Based on the algorithm that I had shown you earlier, the formula for C of 8 is minimum of 8 of 8 and 9, correct? Because we are talking about the edge that connects vertex 8 to 9. Artha madkoli. When you say C of 8, we came to vertex 8 from 9. Please understand this. We came to vertex 8 from vertex 9. So adikke ನಾವು a of 8 9 anta kodtivi. That is the cost from 8 to 9 plus C of 9, correct? Plus C of 9, right? Now what is the cost of 8 to 9? Edge 8 to 9, what is it? 3, correct? It is 3. And what is C of 9? C of 9 is 0, which you have already written. So C of 8 is equal to what happens? It will be minimum of 3 plus 0, which is equal to 3. So I repeat, when you are calculating C of any vertex, first find out from which vertex we have backtracked, that is from which stage we have come. We came from stage 5, so that is vertex 9. So we will calculate A of 8 9, that is the cost of the edge from vertex 8 to vertex 9 plus cost of 9, right? So we get 3. So C of 8 is equal to 3. Then we have to calculate what is called as P of 8, right? Now how this P of 8 is calculated is, first is you take the minimum value from the above. Right now here there is only one value, that is 3, so we will take 3 only, because sometimes when we go further we may get couple of values inside the opening and closing curly braces. So our couple of values nalli now minimum tagonbeku. Got the point? So that is what is the formula all about, because the whole idea is to find out the shortest path. So when we are calculating P of 8, we take the minimum value. Let me tell you how it is calculated. Take the minimum value, that is 3, correct? Got it all of you? C of 8 is 3, right? Now this 3 belongs to whom? You got that 3 because of this formula, A of 8, 9 plus C of 9, right? Now in this formula, which is the destination vertex? Can you tell me in this stage? In this stage, which is the destination vertex? Keep this formula in mind. A 8 of 9 plus C of 9. Idರಲ್ಲಿ destination vertex ಯಾವುದು? Is it 8 or 9? But 9 is the destination vertex in A 8 of 9. So when you are doing the forward approach, when you are coming in the reverse direction, it will be always with respect to the right side vertex. That is vertex 8. I'm sorry, vertex 9. So your P of 8 will be equal to 9. Just make a note of this. Simple way to remember when you solve this problem in the exam is C of vertex in baritiralla. Correct? See, this minimum value 3 belongs to A of something plus C of something. Alva? I repeat, minimum value 3 belongs to A of something plus C of something. A C of something eniruttalla, that will be the value of P. Okay, so it is one easy and shortcut way of remembering in the exam, so that your time is now. Which is the next vertex we are going to calculate now? Exactly. So next is vertex 7. Vertex 7. Correct. So the way we did for vertex 8, that is minimum of A of 8 of 9 plus C of 9. Same thing we are going to do for vertex 7 with a small difference. It will be A of 7, 9. That is edge from vertex 7 to vertex 9. Correct. Now what is the cost of the edge from vertex 7 to 9? Yeah, correct. It is 7. So it will be minimum of 7 plus 0. There's only one number here. So cost of 7 will be 7. Correct? Similarly, we calculate P of 7, right? In the same manner actually. P of 7 is nothing but taken from A of 7 comma 9 plus C of 9. Correct? So C of, I told you, easy way of remembering for P is whatever is C of the vertex, that vertex will be P of, that vertex will be the value of P of the previous vertex. So P of 7 will be equal to 9. Okay. The first step will always be very easy. Athwa, I can say the first calculation part with respect to all the vertices of n-1 stage, alva, that is stage 4 here, we have two vertex, 7 and 8. It will be very easy because most of the time what happens, there will be only one edge from each vertex of stage 4 going to the destination vertex which is there at stage 5. Okay. Now, which are all the stages in next stage? See, vertex 7 and 8 were in stage 4. So we go to stage 3. ಯಾವ vertex is stage 3 nalli? Correct. So we will go with vertex 6. Vertex 6. Okay. Now, hold on. Please don't write. Okay. Very carefully. Look at vertex 6. Now, vertex 6 comes from vertex 8 as well as vertex 7. Andre, vertex 6 has got two out degrees. One is going to vertex 7 and one is going to vertex 8. Please understand. One is going to vertex 7 and one is going to vertex 8. So the formula will be minimum of, now here you will get two values. Minimum of 6, 7 plus C of 7, because 7 is the destination vertex here. Minimum of 6 of 7 plus C of 7, or 6 of 8 plus C of 8. Correct? So what is 6 of 7? It is 6. Good. What is C of 7? Yes, it is 7. Correct. Correct. What is edge 6, 8? What is edge 6, 8? Exactly. It is 2. And what is C of 8, guys? 3. Very true. So, don't you think my equation reduces to like this? Right? Minimum of 6 plus 7, comma 2 plus 3. Right? Which is nothing but minimum of 13, comma 5. Alva? So 13, 5, which is minimum, 5 is minimum. So my C of 6 will be 5. Got it, all of you? If you have understood, please write this much before I tell you how P is calculated. Now, tell me one thing. This 5 comes from which equation? Can you write it in the chat box? I want full equation. This 5, C of 6 equal to 5, comes from which equation? It is A of 6, 8 plus C of 8 alva. Of which vertex we are talking here in this equation? C of which vertex? Exactly. So can you tell me what will be P of 6 now, guys? P of 6? Correct. Very true. Very true. P of 6 is equal to 8. Proceed with next vertex, that is vertex 5. Okay. Now, vertex 5 has got out degrees to how many edges? Can you tell me, guys? Which all edges? Vertex 5 has got its edges to which other edges? Which other vertex? Correct. 7 and 8. 7 and 8. So the cost will be minimum of A57 plus C7 and minimum and A58 plus C of 8. So calculate it and tell me the value of C of 5. So my C of 5 will be 5. And what is P of 5, guys, now? P of 5? P of 5 will be 8. P of 5 will be 8. Similarly, you have one more vertex in this stage, that is vertex 4. Correct? So 4 also has got 2 edges coming out. One is to vertex 7 and another one is to vertex 8. So the formula will be, so tell me C of 4 and P of 4. Eradu heli nanage. C of 4 and P of 4. Both you can type. Please check, all of you. Your C of 4 will be 7 and P of 4 will be 8. Now let us move to the next vertex, right? Now next vertex is vertex 2 and 3, right? Which is at stage 3, okay? Which is at stage 3. So I'll go to vertex 3. Can you tell me how many edges are emerging out of vertex 3? Three edges are emerging out. So the formula will be a little bit bigger, right? Okay. So what will be the formula now? The formula will be A3 of 4 plus C of 4. A3 of 5 plus C of 5. And A3 of 6 plus C of 6, right? So calculate this and tell me the value of C of 3 and P of 3. So this is the value of C of 3 and this is the value of P of 3. Okay. C of 3 is 10 and P of 3 is 5. Similarly, calculate for vertex 2 now. So C of 2 is calculated with this formula because you have 2 edges emerging out of vertex 2. One is going to vertex 4 and another one is going to vertex 6. So C of 2, you will get it as 8 and P of 2, you will get it as 6. Can you give me the last value? C of 1 and P of 1. So vertex 1, as some of you have got right, C of 1 will be 12 and P of 1 will be 3. Right? So when we say C of 1 is equal to 12, please understand the minimum cost from source to sink is 12. Okay, the minimum cost from source to sink is 12. That is from 1 to 9. Okay, forward approach is 1 to 9. Vertex 1 to vertex 9, the cost is 12 from source to sink. Forward approach, calculation is done backward biasing. Forward approach nalli calculation is done backward, and in backward approach the calculation is done forward. Okay, so be careful like that. Got it? Hold on, still we have only written the cost, we have to write the path, very very important. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to prepare a small table now like this. The path traced is shown below. The path traced is shown below. Okay. So write down P of all the 9 vertex, P of 1, P of 2 up to P of 9, and see your, okay. Now to print the path, what you will do is, what is your source vertex? Your source vertex was 1. So first print source 1. First print source 1, correct? Then what you do is you print P of 1. What is P of 1? Can you tell me guys, what is P of 1? Exactly, it is 3. So you print P of 1, which is 3. So take this 3 in mind and print P of 3. I'll repeat once again. From the table, the source vertex is 1. Once you write the source vertex 1, from the table, take the value of P of 1. What is P of 1? As you said, it is 3. So print P of 1 is equal to 3. Take this 3, right, and tell the value of P of 3. 5, right? So P of 3 is equal to 5. P of 3 is equal to 5. Take this 5 and tell the value of P of 5. Correct. It is 8. So P of 5 will be 8. Take this 8 and tell value of P of 8. Take this 8 and tell the value of P of 8. That is 9. Got it? Hold on. Right? Now, is 9 your destination vertex? Is 9 your, yes, your 9 is the destination vertex. That means you stop here. Stop at this point, since 9 is the sink node athwa destination node. Stop. Now the path will be whatever you have printed. So what I was telling was, once you get this path, that is 1, 3, 5, 8, 9, go to your graph and just add all the edges in this particular path and check whether you get the total as 12, because in the previous slide only you said that the minimum cost from source to destination or source to sink is 12. All right, okay. So let us proceed further, and I think the next we can finish off faster because you have understood now. Take down. Obtain the shortest path from 1 to 9 in the following multi-stage graph using backward method now. Using backward method. With small changes, more or less it is same. Instead of coming from 9, we are going from vertex 1. Okay, we are going from vertex 1, and you don't need to redraw the graph because for this method, I am considering the same graph, so don't waste time. You can write your given data. Forward method, C of 9 and P of 9 will be 0. Zero tagonತಾರೆ. Here they will take P of 1 as 1, but C of 1 will be 0. Tell me, from vertex 1, how many vertexes are emerging out? How many edges are emerging out? Exactly. Correct. 2. Right? So that is vertex 1, vertex 2 and 3. Okay. Now, we are going to calculate same thing for vertex 2. Don't write anything. I want to know how will you write the formula for vertex 2. Please put your formula in the chat box. Once it is correct, then you can write it in the paper. So C of 2, please see all of you. For those who are getting confused, there's only one edge coming out from vertex 1, which is going to vertex 2. So there will be only one entry called as A of 1, 2, right? So C of 2 will be 5. C of 2 will be 5. It is exactly same as previous method. Previous method again, we came in the backward direction. In this method, we will go in the forward direction. And only destination vertex na C tagonta idvi. Illi source vertex na you should take it as C, right? So can you tell me what is P of 2? So your P of 2 will be same thing. Minimum value is 5. Of course, you don't need to write this explanation what I am telling you. If you just write vertex 2, those 3 lines, and directly you write P of 2 equal to 1, that is more than sufficient. Calculate for vertex 3. For vertex 3, what will be your cost? It will be minimum of A of 1, 3 plus C of 1. C of 3 is 2, as majority of you, not majority, everyone of you have got correct. And P of 3 is 1. Okay, so please do it for vertex 4 and tell me the answer in the chat box. So have a look at all of you. So here C of 4 minimum is 8, which occurs 2 times. So you have vertex 2 and 3. So we have taken the lower vertex. Please tell me vertex 5 similarly. Yes, you're right. Absolutely right. C of 5 is 7 and P of 5 is 3. So please go ahead with, yeah, Suhas, you're right. Please go with vertex 6. Please check it out. C of 6 is 8 and P of 6 is 2. Calculate vertex 7. C of 7 is 9 and P of 7 is 4. C of 8 is 9 and P of 8 is 5. So we come to the last vertex, that is vertex 9. So I get C of 9 as 12 and P of 9 as 8. Okay. So we now move forward for the last leg of this problem, and as usual, we are going to draw the table, which will give me the values of all the P elements or array P. So P of 1 to P of 9, please make a note of it. So what we'll do to print the path is, since we are solving this multi-stage problem of finding the path matrix or the path rather, in the backward direction. So our destination vertex will be the first one. Okay, so first print the destination, that is 9, right? And then what is P of 9? Can you tell me? P of 9? 8. So I will print P of 9 as 8. What is P of 8? P of 8. Yeah, that is 5. So I'll print it as 5. What is P of 5 then? P of 5, exactly, it is 3. And what is P of 3? Exactly, it is 1. Okay, so since we come back to the source vertex P of 1, we stop at this point because you all know that vertex 1 is the source vertex or source node. So we stop at this point and then the obtained path is 98531. 9853. Okay, all right, fine. So if there is no doubts, then guys, we can stop here. Okay, so all right, guys, thank you and take care of yourselves.